there, Year 2. I'm afraid I have some terrible news. Poor old Mr. Fox is about to be impounded by animal control. They found out about him. They found out that he's been stealing from Boggis, Bunce and Bean, and they're going to arrest him for it. I feel terrible. I mean, he's only doing it because he has no other choice. He's doing it to feed his family. I need your help. I think together we can save Mr. Fox. We can persuade animal control to let him go free. Now, to do that, we are going to create a balanced argument. I'm terrible at balancing, Year 2. Ask anybody. But I'm not so bad at a balanced argument. All we need are some good conjunctions. Wait, what are conjunctions? Well done. They're joining words. Conjunctions are words which we use to join two sentences together or two clauses together. Now that means very often they go in the middle of a sentence. However, some conjunctions can go at the start of a sentence. What conjunctions do you know? I have an idea. Now, I like to group my conjunctions into two categories. We have our balancing conjunctions and our reasoning conjunctions. Balancing conjunctions, well, we use them to balance good with bad. So, good. It's very sunny today. That's good. Okay, it's very sunny today, but I'm stuck inside. So good balances with bad. It is absolutely pouring with rain. Bad. But I have my umbrella. Bad balances with good. But is a super example of a balancing conjunction. But there are plenty more where that came from. Reasoning conjunctions, what do? Well done, Year 2. They give a reason. I am wearing this super awesome Darth Vader top because I'm a huge fan of Star Wars. I'm very tired today since I went to bed late last night. So because and since, two brilliant examples of reasoning conjunctions. Now, your first task, Year 2, is this. You need to get a piece of paper and divide it into 4 equal quarters, 4 equal parts. Then on the left-hand side, what I would like you to do is to write these two titles, reasoning and balancing. And in these boxes, I'd like you to list as many conjunctions as you can remember. So we've already got because, since, they're going to go right here, they're reasoning conjunctions. And we know that but is a balancing conjunction. But what other conjunctions can you think of? List them down for me. Once you've done that, come back to the video, press play again, and we'll carry on with today's lesson. Have you done that, Year 2? Fantastic, well done. You are now nearly fully armed with what you need to contest the animal control's horrible decision. But we've got one more thing to do. Now, you've probably heard it said that there are always 2 sides to every story. And there are, if not more than 2. And that is what we need to do now. We need to think about both sides of the story. So, why is it okay? Why is it okay that Mr. Fox is stealing? And why is it not okay that he's stealing? I personally think Mr. Fox has every right to steal from Boggis, Bunce and Bean because they're trying to kill him. They are sat on top of a hill with their shotguns, ready to kill him and his whole family if they appear. They are being starved to death. I think Mr. Fox is okay to steal because his wife is so weak that she can barely stand. He's doing it to keep her alive. Not just her, but his 4 small children as well. So, those are reasons why I think it's okay that Mr. Fox is stealing. Why is it not okay? Well, stealing is illegal. It is against the law. Not only is he stealing, he's also trespassing. He's going onto somebody else's property, namely Boggis, Bunce and Bean, their farms, and he is taking something which doesn't belong to him. So he's stealing, he's trespassing, and he's also dragged along Badger and the 4 small foxes. He's made them accomplices. He's made them criminals too. There are lots of reasons for and against here. I'd like you to take your ideas and to come back to your 4 quarters. Here, I'd like you to write the title good. And here, the title bad. In here, you're going to write down all of the reasons why what Mr. Fox is doing is absolutely fine and okay. Down here, you're going to list the reasons why actually what Mr. Fox is doing is criminal and deserves to be punished. Have a go for me. Once you've completed that task, again, come back to this video, press play, and we'll carry on with our balanced arguments. Brilliant work, Year 2. Well done. Let's keep it up. Now that you've done that for me, you are ready to create your balanced argument. So we're going to write a letter to Animal Control, and in that letter, we are going to argue reasons for and against Mr. Fox's arrest. So, how do all letters begin? Correct, they begin with Dear. Dear Animal Control. Don't forget, Animal Control needs capital letters as it's a proper noun. Let's pause right there for a second. Whenever we are writing a letter and we begin with Dear before we continue the letter, we need to place a comma, just there. Now then, we need to explain why we're writing. I am writing to you because it's our first reasoning conjunction of the day. We're giving a reason. I am writing to you because I think it is. Now here, I need an adjective. What do I think about this whole situation with Mr. Fox? I think it is atrocious. I think it is awful, appalling, disgusting, unreasonable, unfair. Take your pick, or even better, take more than one and put them into a list. So I have written, I am writing to you because I think it is atrocious, awful, and unfair that Mr. Fox is to be impounded. Now then, I'm going to write the main bulk of my letter. I'm going to start off by explaining why I think it's okay that Mr. Fox is doing what he's doing. So this is where I need all of those reasoning conjunctions, such as because and since, therefore, so, as, any of those. I'm going to use them in my writing. So far in my sentence, I've written, I believe Mr. Fox has every right to steal from Boggis, Bunce and Bean. Now I've used capital letters here for Boggis, Bunce and Bean because, righto, they are proper nouns, they're names. They need capital letters. Now, I need a conjunction and I need a reasoning conjunction. I'm going to explain why I think he has every right to steal. Shall I use because? No, why not? Well spotted. I've already used it once here. Now, I could use it again, but if we use the same conjunction again and again and again and again, it gets a little bit boring. So let's mix it up. What other conjunction could I use instead of because? Take a look at your sheet that you created earlier. Have a look in those 4 quarters. What did you write down? I'm going to use since. Since they are trying to kill him. There we go. Good sentence. I believe Mr. Fox has every right to steal from Boggis, Bunce and Bean since they are trying to kill him. That's one reason. I don't think one reason is going to cut it with Animal Control. We need to give a few more. So, another reason and another reasoning conjunction. I've started this sentence with, I think he should be allowed to do this. Now I need my reasoning conjunction. I don't want to use because, I've already used it. I don't want to use since, I've only just used since. So what else did I put onto my list earlier? As. I think he should be allowed to do this, as otherwise his whole family would starve to death. What better reason is there than that? Okay, let's pause for just a moment or two. The reasoning conjunctions of so and therefore are fantastic conjunctions, and I absolutely implore you to use them. But, and there is a balancing conjunction, but those conjunctions are used slightly differently. With those conjunctions, we put the reason first, and then the rest of the sentence follows afterwards. For example, I am a huge Star Wars fan, therefore I am wearing this awesome Darth Vader top. Or, I went to bed late last night, so I'm feeling rather tired today. The three farmers left Mr. Fox with no other choice, therefore he had to steal. That is a brilliant start to my piece of writing. That is a great start to my balanced argument. The reasoning part is done. However, so far I've only looked at this situation from one side of the story, and there are always two sides to every story. So now I need to think about those reasons why Mr. Fox does deserve to be impounded. And I'm going to use my balancing conjunctions to balance the argument out. So I'm now thinking of those conjunctions such as but, although, even though, whereas, and despite, and any others you might have jotted down earlier. All right, why should Mr. Fox be impounded? Now it's time to be devil's advocate. So I've started the second part of my letter with, I understand that stealing is illegal. I agree with you, stealing is bad. But so is murder. And but is my balancing conjunction. Perhaps I need to give a bit more detail. Yes, so is murder. Why murder? Well, that's what Bugs Bunce and Bean are planning to do to Mr. Fox if he goes out of his hole. That is an amazing sentence here too, because I used two conjunctions, not one, but two. I used but, which is my balancing conjunction, balancing good with bad. But I also used the conjunction which we talked about during our last lesson when we described badger. Okay, there is one reason why what Mr. Fox is doing is a no-no. Let's think of a second reason. He's trespassing. I agree that Mr. Fox is trespassing on private property. I do. I really, genuinely, honestly, I get it. I'm not going to use the conjunction but, because I've already used it, and I do not want to bore my reader. I don't want to bore animal control. So, what other balancing conjunctions did you think of? Fantastic, yes. However, although, even though, whereas, despite, there are so many to choose from. I'm going to go for although. So I wrote, I agree that Mr. Fox is trespassing on private property, although he hasn't caused any damage, unlike what was done to his home. Let's not forget, his home was destroyed. It was obliterated by those enormous, monstrous, beastly tractors. I don't think what Mr. Fox is doing is all that bad in comparison to what Bugs Bunce and Bean are up to. Okay, I haven't quite finished year two, but I think you now have a good idea of where to start with your balanced argument. Take my ideas, take the ideas you wrote down earlier, and put them into a letter to animal control. When you get to the end of the letter, don't forget to say thank you. We always end our letters by saying thank you for taking the time to read my letter. Then, once you've said thank you, we end the letter by writing two words. Do you know what those two words are, year two? Right. If we're writing a formal letter, that is a posh letter, we write yours sincerely. Yours sincerely. And then your name. Bob, Susan, Sally, Mr. Sorrel. And don't put kisses at the end of it. We don't put kisses on the end of formal letters, especially not when it's a letter of complaint, which this one is. Okay, you two, I hope you enjoy writing those letters and I cannot wait to see them. Once you've finished your letter, don't forget to send it to me. I hope you have a wonderful day and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye for now.